Welcome back to another video, guys. In today's video, we are going over the best 35mm beginner camera ever.
Gentlemen, and the problems that we ladies have with them, the things they choose to do 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 with them.
So the Olympus OM-10 was actually my very first film camera. I've been shooting primarily digitally on the Canon series like the 70D and the 5D. But before my trip to California to visit one of my friends, I was kind of perusing the idea of getting a film camera to kind of get more of a intimate and nostalgic look into photography. So I was browsing Craigslist for pretty much any film camera I could find. I'd heard people had gotten film cameras in thrift stores, but I wanted to make sure that I got one that was working. So I found this guy on Craigslist who was claiming to sell a brand new OM-10 that he'd never used out of the package from the 1970s. I met up with him, kind of checked over the camera, kind of heard him out. He had said that he'd bought the camera when his son was born and then had never really used it. So I paid him the $50 and was kind of on my way. Little did I know that this would kind of change my whole paradigm on photography and that the OM-10 would kind of be the catalyst to that. So for the next year or so, I kind of took my lumps learning the camera, learning how to load the camera correctly, properly exposing photos, learning different film stocks, and a lot more that goes into film photography. And I truly think that the OM-10 kind of held my hand the whole way and was very forgiving in that. The OM-10 hit the market in June of 1979. It was sold initially as a consumer camera alongside their original OM-1 camera. The 35mm SLR shot aperture priority unless it had the manual exposure adapter. This made it especially easy for beginners, essentially only having to change the aperture while the camera chooses the shutter speed after you punch in the ISO. The OM-10 does all the heavy lifting for you while you worry about composition, color, and other things. I had the manual adapter, but I found myself using the aperture priority as it was just much easier. With a small build and equipped with a 50mm lens, the OM-10 was ready for pretty much any situation. As simple as the camera is, loading it is just as easy. Similar to any other 35mm SLR, you simply load the film on one side, pulling it across the curtain into the other side's spool. Using the advanced lever, pull the film across, ensuring that it is fastened tightly. Close the back and you're good to shoot. Sadly, I wasn't really able to go out and shoot a roll for the video. However, I have a whole catalog of photos that I'm sure I've been using as B-roll for this whole video. Ultimately, I think the OM-10 is an amazing camera and really holds a special place in my heart. I think due to timing and kind of how it just came into my life and the simplicity of it, that it was perfect for getting me into film photography and kind of sparking a whole interest within photography that I don't know if I would have gotten with something that was a more difficult camera with a larger barrier to entry or just being more difficult to shoot initially. The camera has been on countless adventures with me: California, Florida, various adventures with my friends, spending summer days taking images just to let time pass, cold wintry shots that the camera held up for, and tons of other memories and meaningful images. At the end of the day, I think it's perfect for someone who's wanting to get into 35mm or someone who just wants a more simple, everyday, kind of point-and-shoot-esque SLR style camera. The beauty of it being too is that you kind of can, manipulate it into a manual mode and not shoot as much automatic if you wanted to. Alright, so I think that's going to do it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really wanted to do a kind of proper review on the OM-10 since it does have such a special place and is kind of near and dear to my heart. So with that being said, let me guys know what you guys think of the OM-10 or kind of these beginner 35mm cameras like the AE1. I'd be really interested to hear your thoughts in the comments. Otherwise, thank you guys so much for watching. It's been awesome kind of rocking these videos out, kind of having a more rigorous schedule with them. And I think that's all I have to say. So make sure you guys stay tuned for more content coming soon. Peace out.